This is the multiplier method. 5 tangible steps to becoming a high value man. Okay, so this is coming from someone like myself who had to teach himself how to be a man from a very young age. I grew up without a father, and I needed to become somebody who could be very determined in growth, very determined in becoming the best version of myself, and had to fight many different obstacles in order to get myself to the next level as I continue to do on a daily basis. Okay, so these are the 5 tangible steps that you need to use. And let's just be completely clear when I say this: you can still be a high value man even if you're not a multimillionaire, billionaire, whatever, okay? It's all up here, okay? It has less to do with possessions and materialistic items and whatnot that we see in our lives, like, the fast cars, the chains, the watches, all that shit, okay? It has more to do with what's going on up here in your mind, okay? Not a lot of people understand that, all right? Now, you could go to all these networking events and start to get around more high value people as well and do all that stuff. That's great. That's not what this is going to be about. Okay. These are going to be tangible action items that you can start today. Okay. So, first off, let's just make sure that we understand that even if the odds are stacked against you, this can be changed with some execution, some action. Okay, so we're gonna take some action today. Now, what I mean is, if you're 5'5", you're a guy, and you're like, oh well, I'm not 6 foot, and like, no girl wants me because I'm under 6 foot, and all this stuff. That is a completely false narrative that you've been led to believe. Okay, I know short dudes that can pull. Okay, they have no problem with that. Okay, so it has nothing to do with your height. So get that out of here. If you want to get your money up, you can get your money up. If you want to get your fitness up, you can get your fitness up. We'll get into all of that. Okay, so like I said, there's many high value people out there in the world that, even if they do have the money, they have the possessions, they're still miserable because they don't have the experiences, or maybe they don't have the women that they want, or they don't have the life that they truly desire. Even though they might have all the money and everything looks great from the outside, inside they don't have that high value status that they want as a man. Okay, now you'll be able to see that by adding the multiplier method into your life over time, you will become the man that you desire. Okay, this method is named the multiplier because the more focus on these 5 areas that you have, you will begin to multiply and compound the action taken toward becoming the man you want to become. So it's a compounding effect that you continue to do time and time again. It multiplies as you grow. All right, and you want to focus on these 5 steps for basically obtaining and ascending into the life of a high value man. Okay, so number one, choose the unbeaten path. Okay, so you want to do the things that the masses stray away from. Okay, it's like the lion and the sheep method, right? You want to be the lion on your own path, and this means doing things that are hard, that are not easy to do. That could be starting a business, learning hard skills, public speaking, cold approaching people, training harder in the gym than the average bloke, because some people just go there, they sit on their phones, they're fucking scrolling on the bench. You're not doing any hard work. I purposely do not take my phone to the gym just because, number one, I like to clear my mind. Even though I don't even listen to music, I just like to clear my mind, focus on the workout. But then I sit there and I watch other people, right? And I watch other people in the gym, and they'll sit there and do like 2 sets in 15 minutes. And it's not like they're powerlifting. They're sitting there scrolling on their phone, fucking distracted. It's unbelievable. So they think they're doing hard shit by going to the gym, but they're continuing to bring their bad habits into the gym and not actually get the work done that they're going to get done. The whole intention is go and get healthier and push yourself to a limit. They're not doing that. Okay. So you want to do hard things. Okay. This will forge yourself into someone who is used to feeling pain and uncomfort that comes with growth. Okay. It's not easy, but when you get on the other side of it, it's like you have a weight lifted off your shoulders. You're like, oh, I can breathe. I'm this person who's becoming the next level, right? You're leveling up. And when you're learning hard skills, right? A lot of people say like you have to start a business, but truthfully, entrepreneurship is not for everyone. Okay. So I'm not going to sit here and say you should start a business. Some of you, absolutely. Yeah, definitely go ahead and start your business. Other people are better off also being just a key piece in a growing company. So if you can find like a startup that you can be valuable to and learn skills that you can then bring to this company that people will pay you a lot of money, right? Like right now, like cybersecurity or like software development, these kind of people, right? You'll get a lot of money thrown at you from top companies that other companies will start to basically fight over you and throw you big paychecks because you were so valuable to them, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to start a business and become that entrepreneur type, you can be an intrapreneur, meaning you work inside of a company, but you're extremely valuable as well. So keep that in mind. It doesn't always mean that you have to become this entrepreneur type business owner and whatnot. You know what I mean? It doesn't really mean that you need to be that. Okay, there's two sides of the coin. Just play to your strengths. Okay, and ultimately, this raises the awareness of other highly respected men that will come into your life and understand what you've gone through to level up, because real recognizes real, right? You're going to know that when you step into a room, you're going to notice that there's other people that are high value and people that are not. And you can easily see this and detect this if you have a good self awareness meter, right? If you know yourself that you were somebody that works hard, you've been working on yourself, even paying attention to detail, which we'll get into, like your style's on point, right? You put yourself together really well. There's other guys that are like that because they've been through hard shit to get to where they are in life. They're going to recognize you as someone like that as well, that didn't come from an easy way of life. And even if you had life a little bit easier, you put yourself into a position to get yourself into a uncomfortable position to then level up. Okay. This, you can't fake it. You can't fake being uh, somebody who's been through shit, right? So other people are going to recognize this. And the women who are attracted to ambitious, hardworking guys, they understand that these type of guys have a mission to continue to better themselves through hard work and determination. So you're going to attract women into your life that are good women, right? I know that there's this false narrative. Well, it's not really a false narrative. There's a narrative out there, and it's true that there's women out there that, uh, maybe they don't really see guys for what they are, right? Like hardworking and truly like determined guys to better and level up themselves and whatnot. But there are women out there that will recognize that, right? So it's not 100% of girls that are just out there being like, like we don't need men or whatever, and they trash men and shit all day. There are women out there that are attracted to guys that are determined, they work hard, they better themselves. You know what I mean? But you have to be the one to take that step because of the day and age that we live in. So you have to form yourself into that person, which leads us into number 2. Okay, kill the old self. You must become someone worth having the life that you desire, right? This means killing off your old self. So again, just bring it back to the other point. If you desire beautiful women, or you want like a beautiful wife one day, or you want to be around other high value guys, you have to be that person. Okay, you cannot just rely on being the person that you are now, right? So the person that got me to becoming a 6-figure entrepreneur will not get me to being a 7-figure, 8-figure, 9-figure plus type of person, right? I have to constantly level up as I grow. You cannot stay the same person, right? You have to continue to level up, or else you get complacent and comfortable. And I've been shocked with this at one point because I got too comfortable in certain areas and I had to go again and level up. Okay, it's a never-ending formula. Okay, but this begins with your habits. Okay, your daily habits shape your reality and reinforce the thoughts that you have about yourself. So if you believe you're a loser, it's because you're doing loser activities. So if you're doing dumb shit, you're going to reinforce in your brain that, oh, this is dumb. I know it's dumb, but I'm doing it anyways because it's fun, or it's whatever. My friends do this or whatever, right? You know it's shit behavior. So now your brain is basically reinforcing that as that's who you are, right? And then you just believe that's who you are. But realistically, what needs to happen is you need to change your habits in order to become the next person that you want to be. So your brain now learns who you now are becoming. Okay. It's a complete mental shift. Okay. You can simply change this by identifying winning habits and shifting your own persona. So, first, what you want to do is write down your poor habits, and you know which ones you have, right? Video games, mindless scrolling on TikTok, you're doing drugs, you're getting wasted every weekend with your stupid friends, you're punching your squirrel to your phone screen on Cornhub and stuff like that, like just dumb shit, right? You know what you need to change, okay? I was someone who grew up with video games from a very young age. I used to game like crazy, and I had to remove all video games from my area, or else I would just play them because my brain likes the challenge. My brain likes the storyline or the action in the game or the competitiveness in a game, right? I was a sports guy growing up, so I like sports games or like Call of Duty and like the compete aspect, right? That's an easy way to go and compete. That's an easy way to go ahead and get some satisfaction when you're actually not doing the hard thing that you can compete for in life. Okay. So you need to replace those habits, right? So now what you want to do is then write down who you wish to become. Okay. The type of man that you want to grow into. So sit down, write what does that guy look like? What do you look like? How do you envision yourself? Right? You can change yourself. The great thing about becoming a guy or becoming a man and growing up in your prime, right? Your 20s into your 30s into your 40s is like you get to literally shape and craft who you want to become. You have a clean slate in this world, right? You get to map out and architect and craft the person you want to become, like a video game character, right? You get to level yourself up. But it's even better because it's in the real world and there's only a select few that can truly achieve this and you become monumental. Okay. So it's very important. So next, what you want to do is write down the habits that this ideal man in yourself would do on a daily basis, right? So that could be reading nonfiction business books, right? Or podcasts that you want to listen to if you don't want to read, right? You want to learn high income skills, copywriting, marketing, sales, video editing, right? Public speaking, cybersecurity, programming, all the coding, all this stuff, right? I know a lot of that stuff might be getting taken over with AI, but who knows? There's still definitely a need for like coding and stuff like that for a lot of people that do super custom codes and whatnot. And there's even the no code era, but still like developers. There's still people of that kind if that's what you're into. So don't stray away from it, but be aware of where the world's going and how to adapt and add your skill sets in that way, right? Build a business or work inside of one that you can get really good at, becoming like a key piece in that business. Network with like-minded people, healthy lifestyle, right? All these kinds of things. If you are surrounded by shit friends, okay, negative mindset, you're trying to better yourself, they're talking shit, they go out every weekend, get high off coke and drink like crazy. These are not the people that are going to get you to becoming that multimillionaire. Like, yeah, bro, we're going to be big one day, blah, blah, blah. And you're sitting there broke in the club. Broke in the club. What are you doing? You're broke in the club. You know how many guys would sit there and be like, "Oh, bro, we're gonna be this, and that." Like sitting in the club, it's like, bro, what do you mean? We're all we do is we come here every weekend, we get fucking wasted, and half of these guys they won't even go talk to girls anyways if their goal is like for women, and they'll just sit there and admire, oh, that chick's hot. Oh, she's hot too. Yeah, well, great. Well, go do something about it. Like they just don't take action in any area of their life except if it's going up to the bar and ordering another drink. That's the only action they're taking. You don't want to be that guy, okay? Remove yourself. Now, I'm not saying you have to completely cut off people, never talk to them again, but what I am saying is that you need to separate yourself, create distance to then become the person that you want to become. You cannot do that growing in an environment that's toxic. You yourself will become toxic, right? That's how it goes. So you need to constantly level up, okay? Now, you will now need to work on replacing those habits, okay? This is called going from a vicious cycle to a virtuous cycle. They're feedback loops that will train your mind to become the man you opted into becoming earlier when you wrote it down, like we talked about up here, right? So you need to follow the be, do, have formula, and ultimately you will live the life of a high value man. So what you do is if you're in a vicious cycle, which is a negative feedback loop, which means that when you wake up in the morning, first thing you do is you grab your phone, you start scrolling, right? Unproductive start. You need to replace that because that's how you're starting off your day with a negative feedback loop, going on your phone, scrolling, looking at bullshit. You need to replace that with a virtuous type of cycle, a virtuous habit. So this could be just getting up and going for a walk or just going outside or just grabbing a glass of water and going and standing outside, getting some sunlight, right? Moving around, right? Maybe listening to a podcast first thing in the morning, or even if you just like, calming music or something like that, right? Don't listen to bullshit first thing in the morning though. Like don't listen to the news, none of that, right? Get yourself in a good state, right? Start slowly replacing these habits because what happens is your brain has these habits. And once you let something go, it finds something else. It's going to find something else to replace it if you don't. So if you have a dopamine addiction to scrolling on your phone and you delete one app, it's going to find another app to go to, right? So I deleted TikTok and I found, well, I would just go on Instagram and I'd still scroll on the shorts because they have the same fucking feature on there anyways. So it's like, why not just scroll on there? So I'm like, okay, delete Instagram during the day. I can only go on it at night. And that's what I did. So now I got rid of that. Right. So now it's like you're just replacing it. And then what I did instead is like, okay, well, now I don't sleep with my phone in my room. I sleep with it outside. And I have to actually get up to go turn off my alarm. And that's how I'm going to start my day. Okay. So you're replacing these habits. And then ultimately, when you be, do, have the formula, right? The be, do, have. So be the person that you wish to become, do the actions and habits that they would do. And ultimately, you would have the life that they have, right? Over an extended period of time. Okay. That's how it happens. Now, attention to detail. Okay, this comes in many forms, but attention to detail is with the way that you think, analyzing your thoughts, the way you speak with less emotion for more stoicism, right? The way you dress, the way you eat, how you sleep, right? Moving in a calculated manner makes you operate at a more efficient level that people will take note of. Okay, so first things first, you're building yourself, right? Attention to detail with everything that you do and you say and the way that you think, right? Analyzing your thoughts. Why am I having this negative thought? Think about it. Does it even make sense? Is it even going to affect me? Why am I worrying about this? Okay, it doesn't matter. Awesome. On to the next thing, right? Being very self aware, attention to detail in that asset, right? More stoicism, right? So, like, the less emotion that you like, if you're somebody who's really reactive, right? I used to be kind of like reactive, you know what I mean? I had to dial it back, right? You can still be passionate and have emotion in the way that you speak, but the way that you operate on a daily basis, don't overreact to things. If something shit happens, don't worry about it. You know what I mean? You want to kind of stay at even keel. Don't get too high, don't get too low. Because if with a super high comes a really big low, with a big low comes a super high, and then you get high on life, and then you don't think that, oh, at some point, you're going to run into some obstacles. It's going to feel like a huge crash. But if you're just even keel and you understand that the good comes with the bad and vice versa, you just learn how to operate and maneuver it, right? And ultimately you're controlling your emotions, right? A lot of people are very reactive nowadays, especially if you're from like Western society, right? People don't understand like sarcasm and shit. I feel like, especially like people don't understand like jokes, right? Which is why people are so like offended these days. They can't control their emotions, they can't control their thoughts because they're like, it's like mind boggling because they don't have control and they don't have attention to detail with the way that they think and do things, right? I'm telling you, it's like on a microscopic level. It's like neurological with the way that you can shift yourself from not being like majority of people who are very reactive. Okay. And again, it's just being detailed in the way that you are, right? And people, when they start to realize this about yourself, the way that you move in more calculated manner, right? Is it like, even if you start dressing better, right? You don't dress like shit, like you actually like color coordinate. You don't have to like buy fancy clothes and stuff like that. You can just have like plain t-shirts, plain pants, nice white shoes, maybe a nice cologne, maybe you got a nice watch or bracelet or chain or something, like really simple, right? But you shape yourself up nice, right? People are going to start to take note of this, right? And they start to lean into you and they start thinking that something's different about you. And they start to think like, something different about this guy, giving yourself more of a uniqueness compared to everybody else who is yet to level up, especially if you go back and you see like a friend group or family or whatever like that. They're going to notice a difference about you. Okay. And most people are distracted, like I mentioned, so they can't zoom out and really question reality, worldviews, beliefs, and shape their own reality and their own thought patterns and critical thinking and be detailed when moving in the world. So, again, zoom out. What is the common belief? What are people teaching you and telling you, right? Is it truth? Is it something that is worth following? Things that you were taught growing up. What's the detail in that? Right? Should I be following this ideology? Right? Question everything, everything. And people are going to get mad at you for questioning things because it makes them feel uncomfortable because they've been believing some shit their whole lives. So they're going to tell you that you're wrong or you're crazy, right? Don't fall into it. Continue to stay true to yourself and be confident enough to form your own thoughts and beliefs, right? You become way more attractive that way and you build value as that high value man would because they're confident the way that they think, feel, act, and do everything. Okay. It's attention to detail, right? Pay attention to yourself, build your self-awareness so you know where to improve. This will also kill off any victim mentality or that bitch voice that lives in your head because you'll be able to take full responsibility for who you are and where you are in life. So not blaming anybody else, understanding I'm in this position because I chose to be in this position, right? I can also choose to be in a different position and it's nobody else's fault but mine. Okay. You need to take full responsibility and get yourself into a place where you can take action, kill the victim mentality, kill that bitch voice in your head that says, we'll work out tomorrow. You already worked out yesterday, right? No, I'm going to go to the gym because I know that I have 5 pounds to lose, or I know that I have 5 pounds to gain because I want to look muscular, whatever it is that your goal is, right? You need to understand that. Okay. And lastly, when you understand who you are, you become so confident in yourself that you radiate it to others around you. You're so sure of yourself that doubt and fear begin to leave your mind, and you're left being insanely, overly and confident in yourself, which is a key trait to success. So people that are overly confident, they have like these crazy goals in their mind, like Elon Musk, right? He's like, this guy's like, I'm going to Mars, right? That basically that aura, that energy of overconfidence is something that people just can't not look away. That's why he has so much attention on him, right? Most CEOs and founders in companies, they can stay quiet, they can stay hidden behind doors, closed doors, and still build multi-million dollar businesses, billion-dollar businesses. But he brings attention to himself with media clips that he says, the way he thinks, how confident he is in the way that uh, he says his thoughts, right? He's very convicted with the way that he says things, right? Attention to detail with the way that he thinks. Before he responds to a question, he thinks about it, right? He takes a second, he thinks, attention to detail of his thoughts and his words, right? It's very calculated the way that he moves, and you can't help but be drawn into that, which is why he has so much attention onto him, right? Number four, the foundational life source. Okay, your health is your foundational life source. If you are unhealthy, this will translate into all areas of your life, mentally, physically, everything. Okay, so this is something that I'm recently taken steps towards improving even more so. I'm very healthy from being an athlete, and I stay in the gym at least 5 days out of the week. But I know that I can improve on my sleep, which I have been, and my diet definitely is something I have improved big time. But I'm also training myself to improve that as we go. So I'm even looking into programs. I'm spending like thousands of dollars on coaches, all that great stuff, because I want to stay optimal. Because your health will keep you optimal, keep you full of energy, and that was the one thing that I was realizing, that I could be more energetic, I could have more drive, and I need that, right? So tap into that source. You're given your foundational life source is your health. Okay. So your diet must be dialed in. This doesn't have to be overcomplicated. You don't need to follow some crazy strict diet. Okay. You know what is healthy. You know what is not healthy. McDonald's French fries, McDonald's every day, eating shit. You know what's not healthy for you. You just know that it's convenient, it's easy, and it's fast. Okay. You don't need to go down that path. And if you don't know what's unhealthy, read the back of the label. It'll tell you what's in there. You can search it up on your phone. Oh, this shit is made with plastic. Oh, awesome. It's in this food. I'm probably not going to buy it. You know what I mean? Stick to whole foods. You can mix in the odd, chocolate snack or whatever you want in now every now and then, but mainly just stick to whole foods, right? You know what's good. Eggs, meat, fruits, veggies, like just stick to the basics, right? You don't need to make it overly complicated. If you have a bunch of allergies and stuff like that, or health complications, I would obviously, of course, go consult people that are experts, but there are ways to reverse things, right? Like we already know that if you get type 2 diabetes, there is a way to reverse type 2 diabetes purely based on health and the way that you eat your food, your diet. Okay. So that alone right there is a great indication that if you even get a health risk like diabetes, you can go ahead and reverse that. Type 2. I don't think type 1 can be reversed, but type 2 can be, right? Again, I'm not the medical expert. You can go ahead and consult others in there. I'm just speaking from what I know, okay? Now, also, your sleep must be optimal, okay? Cold setting in your room, dark, quiet, no screens 1 hour before bed. Don't stay up past midnight if possible. I know some people like pride themselves, oh, I work on my business till 3 a.m. or, I can go off like whatever, 4 hours of sleep. Okay, that's great, but I have a hard time arguing that because I'm someone like myself. I know that getting a good at least 7, 8 hours of sleep is good for your health, good for your energy, and you're better off getting a good sleep and then waking up and working on your business because you're going to get a better ROI from the time that you put on in your business instead of being half awake and putting a half-ass effort into it because you're fucking tired. Okay. So get good sleep. Try to go to bed before midnight if possible, because waking up early to some sunlight is good for you. Okay. It's really good. Reading before bed helps calm the mind. If you're somebody who has a lot on your mind before bed, you can also just try and, if you can't shut your brain off, somebody like myself, I actually struggle with that. You need to start to visualize what you want in your life and what you want it to look like, and your mind will start to drift. While at the same time, you're programming your subconscious mind in the theta state, which is between wakefulness and sleep. So when you're going to bed and when you wake up, there's a state briefly where your mind is in theta. So that means that it's programming your subconscious. So what you can do is as you're falling asleep, and I like to do this, I like to play out scenarios in my head of what life would look like or what I want out of life. And you're visualizing this before. And ultimately what ends up happening is because you're so focused on the things that you're wanting in your life, you're creating scenarios in your head that are positive, they're uplifting, they're exciting, right? What ends up happening is you start to think about things in such depth that you start to drift off into sleep. Your mind starts to wander, you start to drift off to sleep, but you're not too much as awake as you were before. It's hard to explain, but you should try it. Like I sit there and I'll think after I'm reading before bed. I'm like, all right, I sit there and I'm like, what do I want out of life? And like what do I want to grow into? What do I want, right? And I start thinking about all these great things, and then like next thing you know, I'm out. And I'm somebody who has a mind that's really going all over the place because I'm like thinking about this, and that I have to do, and I just calm myself, right? Don't worry about it. We deal with what we need to deal with in the morning. I'm even keel, like I mentioned earlier, not too emotional. Stress is something that I can tolerate. It's part of the game. You don't need to get overstressed, over anxious, right? And I calm my mind before bed, make sure I get a really good sleep. Okay. And you must be exercising in some way each and every day. Okay. Ideally, you're lifting weights minimum 3 days out of the week, especially as a guy. Make sure you're lifting weights, lift heavy, mix in cardio as well. Make sure your cardiovascular is doing well. I do sneaky cardio. So I actually play just across the street from me. I can go ahead and I play like ball hockey at this little community center. And it's a great way to get in cardio. I'm sweating like a lot at the end of the session. And it's like 2 hours straight cardio, and I'm getting thousands of steps in. I'm getting my heart rate elevated over 125. Like I'm just pumping, pumping, pumping. And it's a sneaky way to like, you can actually go and enjoy yourself, and like you're competing and you're getting that cardio in. So I absolutely love it. And it's just a sneaky way to do that. So if you find ways to do that, have fun with it, compete, get that cardio in, it's not going to feel like a fucking job. Like I have to go to the gym and run on a treadmill, right? Some guys like it, some guys want to do that. That's totally fine. We'll listen to music or listen to podcasts while you're doing that. I've done that too. I like to add the compete aspect because I'm not actually competing anymore like I was when I was an athlete. So I like to get that compete back in, competing like ball hockey, or you can do basketball, you can do tennis, right? Squash is another good one, right? Quick stops and starts, lots of running, lots of movement. Get your cardio up, but make sure you're weight training as well, because weights will improve your testosterone. It is proven. So you want to make sure you're getting that weight training in there. And again, keep it simple. You don't need some insane training regimen to get the physique that you want. And stop comparing yourself to people on Instagram. So don't worry about this crazy next, new workout plan. Okay. It's simple. Again, just like the food, you know what's good, you know what's bad. The training, you know that you have a chest that you can work out with chest exercises. Everything's on YouTube University. You can go search it up for free. You can search up how to do the form so your form doesn't look all fucked up. You can actually have good form and practice it, right? You don't need to ego lift. You can lift light and work your way up, right? Then you can start to push yourself, but you want to make sure you're pushing yourself, okay? Don't need to overcomplicate it, okay? And stop comparing yourself to people online. I was somebody who used to compare myself to people. I used to work out. I still work out my legs, right? But I used to think my legs were like really small. But then I realized one day I was like, damn, like these things are like they're good. They're muscular legs. You know what I mean? Like maybe they're not absolute tree trunks with the guys on trend and shit like that. But that's what you realize. You're like, hey, a lot of these guys are like taking shit. Like they're shooting shit in their arms. Like I don't want to do that. Like I'm a natural guy. Like I like just natural health. And for the guys that are doing that, totally cool. Do your thing. You know what I mean? I'm not against it anyways. If you want to do that, go for it. I'm a guy that just likes to have it naturally as at this point in my life. And I stopped comparing myself because I was like, man, like I'm in great shape. There's a lot of guys that would kill to be in this shape, and they can't even get their ass off the couch. So keep in mind, keep it simple. Go to the gym, stay in shape, get the exercise that you need to get. Okay, don't compare yourself to other people. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday and be 1% better each and every day. Okay. Lastly, here, the macro level. Okay. Understand that this is a long game. You need patience to become somebody who's high value. Okay. If you have patience, you are more stoic and again, calculated with your actions. Okay. This isn't to say that you should hold off on taking action, right? Serious action, speed is your friend. Okay. You need to take action. You need to be quick with your action. Don't sit there and have analysis paralysis where you're like, oh, I need everything to be perfect before I take action on these things. No, you just need to start. Okay. But you need to understand that it's a macro time frame. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. This is a lifetime journey that you're going to be on, but it's better than staying in the position that you are now and feeling like a fucking loser. You can't talk to women. You don't look good. You have shit habits, right? You might as well take the other side that's going to be hard and be on the positive side, be on the healthy side. You attract people into your life, guys that are high value, girls that want to be around you, you opportunities that are going to be at your fingertips because you can take advantage of them because you're so skilled, you're so knowledgeable, right? These are the things that you want to understand. It's a macro timeline, but what's going to suck more? It's because it's going to be hard being fat, lazy, and out of shape and unmotivated, or you could go through the hard shit on the positive spectrum where it's going to be hard, but you're going to make a lot of money, you're going to look good, and be successful, and people are going to want to be around you, and there's great things in life for you and all that good stuff, right? It's gonna be hard either way. You just choose, right? And on a macro time frame, you're gonna be on this side. You want to be on the side of success, whatever that means to you. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to be a billionaire, doesn't necessarily mean you have a mansion. Whatever success you determine it to be ultimately comes from a lot of the stuff that we just talked about here and becoming a high value man. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, but do not get bogged down when you do not see results immediately, right? It's a long game, and you will accept failure not for as we know it to be, but rather a lesson that makes you stronger. So if you fail, who gives a fuck? Who cares what people think? Okay, I had to go through this myself. I'm sitting here thinking, oh, like, what if this happens? What if this happens? Who cares? You already know what it's like to have zero in your bank account, bro. What if you go back? Then you just go back. Start again. Okay? You already know what it's like. I'm not saying go blow your account or do some dumb shit, but like if it all goes wrong, you're just back at square one. And you're not even actually back at square one. You're ahead of square one because you went through the lessons to get to where you are now, and you know how to get yourself back, or you know the experiences that you need to go through, you know the skills, you know the lessons, all those things. You're actually ahead, right? You're further along than somebody who's staying in the same spot, from somebody who's scared of taking action over the long term, right? That isn't building their value. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, learning to adapt as you make mistakes. Okay, realize where you need to improve is something you never stop doing. Okay, you're never going to be perfect. You're always going to fuck up. Just learn. Okay, and as time passes, people that once knew your old self will start to see the growth that you've gone through and have no choice but to accept the value you possess at such a high level. People will start to see you as a high level individual, high value man. Okay. You don't need to sit there and convince everybody of it. You yourself know, because again, you're certain with yourself, you're self aware. You know that you are. You don't need to go out there and be like, oh, well, I'm a high value. I'm alpha this, blah, blah. I'm red pill, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Who cares? Okay. It's all been said and done. You don't do it by going out there and yapping your mouth to everybody. You go ahead and you show it. Okay. That's how you do it. You're a leader. That's what you want to be. Okay. And this is due to working on yourself, becoming great at whatever it is that you're strongest in. Focus on your strengths, become great. Okay. Conclusion, just wrapping this up. Okay. Number one, do hard things, learn high income skills, right? Like I said, copywriting, sales, marketing, all that great stuff. You can build that business or help one that's thriving succeed. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Okay. Create your new self. Be that person every day by taking actions your ideal self would take to become the best version of yourself, and don't waste time and your potential. Okay? God, the universe, whatever you believe in, put you here for a reason. The fact that you're on this earth is just an absolute miracle, right? And the odds of you actually being here are crazy. So do not waste your time. Do not waste your potential. Okay. Number three, be attentive, self aware. Don't float through life. Most people float through fucking life. They're just like, oh, that's what I'm supposed to do, or this is the way life is, and that's just the way it is. No, life is what you make it. Okay. So live to your fullest potential. Okay. Don't let outside factors and environment get in the way of becoming a healthy being as well. Okay. Oh, I skipped to number four. But time will pass you by, and you have wished that you have made more decisions that shaped you into a better man, like I was just mentioning before. Okay, time's gonna pass anyways. Are you gonna stay stuck in your same way and be unhappy? And it's gonna be hard. Or are you gonna go through the hard shit to get you to where you want to be and choose to be happy and choose to go through the hard shit and choose to have the life you desire? It's gonna be hard either way. Okay, you want to make the decision for the positive. Okay. And number four, so get your health in check. It's easy to let it slip. It's very easy to let it slip, but don't let outside factors and environment get in the way of being a healthy being. I made a promise to myself when I stopped playing sports competitively and professionally. I made a promise to myself I will never stop going to the gym every single day, minimally 5 days out of the week. And I've stuck to my word ever since I stopped 2 years ago. Okay. So I made that promise to myself. I've been going. I don't stop because I actually enjoy it, and I like seeing the results of actually getting better in the gym, staying healthy, looking physically fit, feeling good, all that great stuff, right? And then of course, like I said, number five, play the long game. Things take time. Just be sure to never give up and keep taking action. Okay, these traits will undeniably shape you into a high value man over time as you continue to improve and embark on the journey towards excellence. Don't stop going after what you desire the most. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments, and I can't wait to chat with you again soon. Cheers.